Now I know, like folks, I've used the term shift, and not to be sly or anything like that, but I thought I think when we talked earlier, it was just kind of cool just to hear a little more about it. So I thought maybe this would be a good time for us to talk about it.
I would be delighted to.
Okay.
So so the way that the shift method came to be was I don't know, about 4 or 5 months ago. I wasn't like I was just like in a crappy mood.
Yeah.
And I decided to go outside, walk around the neighborhood, get some fresh air, and I ran into a friend of mine, someone that I know, that I care about. We're not like best of friends, and she looked at me and she said, "I was just thinking about you. I can't believe you're here." And I'm like, "Why were you thinking about me?" She's like, "I think you're awesome." And all of a sudden I was like, I felt completely different. And by completely different, I mean, I felt like, wow, right? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Like the energy it changed that quickly.
Yeah.
Because I was in a mood that was not helpful or empowering for sure.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And when she surprised me with, "I was just thinking about you," it just made me feel like taller and, ready to take things on.
Right.
And so I thought, there's something to this idea about shifting.
Right.
So I created, it can be for individual coaching, and I also do it as a workshop. And that is about changing your perspective. So I'll give you an example. I have a client whom I adore. And to be clear, and I'm not just saying this, I adore all my clients. I really, truly do.
Yep.
And she was, had been working with a large company for a number of years. And she was at a point where she didn't like it. She's brilliant, by the way. She didn't like it. They were not treating her particularly well. Mm-hmm. And blessedly, she got laid off.
Right.
That we were on a coaching call, and she, at the end of our coaching call, was going to talk to a potential prospective employer.
Right.
And I said, "What are you going to tell them when they ask about your employment or ask about your job?" And she said, "I'm going to tell them that after, I don't know, what it was, 15 years, that they just decided to show me out the door." And I said, "Let me say that back to you."
Right.
Like, how did that sound? She's like, "You're not that good."
Yeah.
I said, "How about something with a little bit more light, a little more expansive, like after 15 years, we gave ourselves permission to separate." Right?
Yeah.
Very different energy.
Right.
So with that, I said, "You're going to call this organization that you're interested in being hired for this job." I said, "So let's talk about and let's coach around a way for you to feel the way you need to feel to come across to these folks that have this opportunity." And so I said, let's shift the energy. And the way it works is there's steps. So the first one is see it. And what I mean by see it is that if you're not feeling empowered,
Right.
like who is, and I know you, that we share in common a like of comic book heroes,
Sure.
particularly of the Marvels. So let's maybe go with that.
Sure.
So who would you pick?
Oh God. It's like who? I was gonna make a joke like who's your favorite? If you had like 2 or 3 dogs, like who's your favorite dog or something like that. Well, I mean, I think most people would like to point out to, like, say for example, Captain America, just for the fact that just for the values you stand for.
Yeah, and he's hot, like super hot.
All right, we'll go with that, sure.
Okay, so Captain America. All right, so in this shifting, right,
Yep.
you are going to embody characteristics about Captain America, right? And make it part of you, and then I'll tell you what's next. So see it. So I am now also like seeing Captain America, which is not an unpleasant thing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. The H is to hear it, and I don't mean by like hearing it,
Yeah.
but make it present. And I'm asking you to make it present. So like Captain America, that's now he's now embodied, right? In you. And then you want to, when you can feel that vibe and that awesomeness, that you invite it in, because you're just going to be in this perspective for a short period of time to do something that needs to be done, right? And in order for it to work, you have to give yourself full permission, which, takes a little while. But once, for people that have gone through coaching, it's like part of the language.
Right.
To give yourself full permission, and then to transform into Captain America energy and make that call or do what it is that you were hesitating or putting aside because you didn't want to. It's like having allies available for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for instance, oftentimes when I'll do the shift, a lot of women pick Oprah and badassery, right? And commitment and truth telling. And so by taking those qualities
Right.
and using them in a particular situation
Right.
can help. Like when I'm too serious, which doesn't happen often, but when I do, it's just not pretty. I bring Sandra Bullock in. Like I shift to Sandra Bullock because she can laugh at herself. She's adorable. And so it's just a way to, instead of being like, oh my God, I wish I was Oprah, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, here's what I admire about Oprah, and here's how I can take some of the qualities that she demonstrates so well and make them my own for when I need to do that.
So instead of the idea like, well, what would she do? Is like, it's almost like being in her shoes for that moment.
Right, right, yes. And as Willy Wonka would say, the patron saint of all eccentrics, in a world with imagination, right? Because there are so many things that we can't see or touch that are there, hopefully helping us.
Right.
And you know what? It's also fun. Now, I'm not a fan of fun, as you know, but if I were a fan of fun, I would say that's a fun thing to do.
Okay. All right, I'll go with that, sure. So I thought it's always like a running joke with other people that whenever there's a natural break, we jump into the next segment. So.